Hello and welcome to Camera Centre UK's podcast. Today we've got a really interesting guest and I'll let him introduce himself. How's it going? Introduce yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Dan. Also go by Daytona Enmarch on Instagram. It's my middle name, so it's a bit different. From Shropshire. 30 years old now, so yeah, getting to that prime. I think that's that prime age. But I've been doing my photography for now maybe 6 years. Based in the Midlands. So I'm like sort of central point to the UK, so I can just angle out anywhere I want. So yeah,
fair enough. You do end up coming to Wales quite a bit to do a lot of your photography, to be fair. I mean, we do have Snowdonia, which is not called Snowdonia anymore, is it?
No, especially not the mountain snow. You can't call it Snowdon anymore. I'm not going to butcher how to say the name because no, I'll have them all chasing me.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, the thing is, I'm English as well, so like it's just like I'm a secret agent at the moment. But of course, we met a long time ago.
Yeah,
like what is it? Got to be like 5-6 years.
Well, it's as long as me and Sky have been together. So yeah, almost like 5 years now.
5 years.
No, it's got 4.5 years. And we met, in the Welsh Mountains. We came together to do a little short video about Zeuss, which I was super stoked for. That was possibly, I always refer back to that weekend. Yeah. It's like, I look at it and it was like being chased by you and Gav, cameras everywhere, and we're like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and it was it was cool, man.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning down there, and I think what's interesting about the work we do is very kind of like wilderness kind of heavy, and very kind of focused in on kind of wildlife and wolves.
Yeah, I like to try and bring, because obviously my passion lies around sort of natural things, so whether it's beauty or whether the connection you have with animals or even just generally life, and like bringing all the things I love together. So I've always liked hiking, obviously always had dogs in my life, but I hadn't had a camera all my life. I found a camera and that actually came off the back of leaving the military, and then once I come out of the military, I sort of used my brother's camera a bit, and I was like, this is quite good actually, and it felt very similar to holding a rifle. You've got to trigger you've got to hold it close to you, keep it steady, keep it clean, and so it felt very familiar already. And then I just found I had a bit of an eye for it, and then I was like, right, okay, well, mountains, camera, dogs. Then the next thing was sunrises and sunsets, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. So,
perfect. Yeah. And it's interesting that you kind of relate camera gear to being controlling a gun and stuff like that. I mean, like to a certain extent I can understand that, because coming out of the military must have been a interesting experience, because it's an entirely different culture, entirely different way of how you approach life. Again, I'm speaking from an area which I haven't been in the military, so
no, I mean, definitely got it right, because you do have, there's like coming from an angle where you're always told what to do. You're regimented. You've got a timeline. You've got deadlines or whatever. You're always got something to do, and somebody's telling you to do it. Whereas then, as soon as you're released from that, it's like, do what I want. I'm free range now. So, and then I was like, as soon as I realised, I was always just go back to the things I've always loved, which, like I say, was mountains or just exploring, hiking, walking. I find myself a lot now in the woodlands, because it's really therapeutical, especially after obviously some of the recent sort of past year and a half. Finding yourself in woods can be a really just a relaxing time, release all that stress and energy.
And I think this is kind of what photography does for a lot of people. And when it comes to doing specifically landscape photography and kind of the stuff that you do, is it grounds you in a reality that you want to be in. You get what I mean? Because I think in today's day and age, we kind of focus a little bit too much on the high technology. I mean, even looking at this set, to be fair, but
pretty light and
everything, AI, everything's digital, everything's crazy. It's nice just to ground yourself in something that's more real. And yes, you are taking photos to be put up online and stuff like that, but
the chase.
I think the reason why art and photography and all of that is so powerful for a lot of people is because it helps them escape, realize, ground in a place that they can see.
I definitely find that as well, because the other thing I do is like to try and bring some people along with me as well, not necessarily even to do with photography. I'll just show them, I'll like, come and see what I do, come and enjoy the experiences, because half the time it's a beautiful location, and whether it's rain or shine, I'm always trying to get that. You never know what you're going to get. So when you turn up, you could get something amazing. Like if that time we were up in I'm going to butcher again here, Snowdon. So on the top of Snowdon, and all the way there, we drove underneath cloud. It was in November time, sort of just after Halloween, all the way there. I took a few of my friends and my sister, all the way there, just underneath the cloud. And then we hiked up, and I was like, still underneath the cloud. We're not going to get anything. And I just saw the break. And then we got above them, and I saw the version for the first time in my life. And I'd only just started photography then as well, so the photo was mainly just made up of 90% the view, the power of that. I didn't really know about the settings at the time, but I look back at our phone, I think, well, it's still a good photo, even though I didn't really know much. And that's the power of what you can see if you get there at the right time, get up, force yourself to get out there and do things. So, yeah, it's definitely something I always egg on people. It's like, come with me, come on, let's do this.
In a podcast I recently did with the guys from Format High Tech, Sam from the company talked about the idea that when native cultures saw photos for the first time, they very much saw it as the grabbing the soul. What I found interesting from that particular conversation was his kind of thoughts, and you two would get on quite well because he's a big fan of Norse mythology.
I love that mythologies.
But what's it called? What I found really interesting from that conversation was he was talking about kind of how the real kind of effect of taking a photo, more kind of film-esque, but you can do it when it comes to Canon cameras or whatever, that you're literally grabbing a moment in time.
Yes, I love that. Because I think I've posted so many times and spoke about that, especially say because of the Zeuss passing in sort of the last year. When you look back at all them time periods now, I've frozen their memories at time, and you can always relish in them. And I think, like you say, to somebody who's never seen that technology before, for them to see it, and it's almost like magic.
Yeah, but I think even into coming out of native cultures, I think that still is how we perceive them as well. I think you look at the photos that Gav's taken around the thing. I can remember being there and shooting that with him. But I think photos as a whole, not just from coming from a a less advanced kind of area, you can really see them and be ignited into kind of where they were taken. And I find that interesting
as well. It's almost like when your mind can get so clouded sometimes that you can't always remember everything all the time. And then even the special moments, like maybe seeing that moonshot there, is just a stunning shot. But to be able to revisit that or hang it up on your wall, it just jogs your memory and sometimes can remind you about maybe getting back out and doing that again, or 100%. That time. It just makes you feel a bit better. And I've got so many photos that I should have up on my wall, but I don't. And I know I should.
It's one of those things. I think since we've kind of converted from film photography and all that to more digital kind of art forms, it's one of those. I think people trust that their phone's always going to have the photos.
If not, it's going to be online.
Yeah, and that's why I find film really interesting, because you're if you're a hoarder like me, I guess, then you're always going to end up having film in and around the house, and it's nice to actually see that because it's quantifiable in your hands. You can see it
go through it.
And the other side of it, and kind of connecting it back to the thing I said about Sam, is that he was talking about how the silver crystals actually captured the photons from that time. In that kind of very kind of realistic thing, I found it really interesting. And as we were speaking outside, as you arrived, you actually said that you were interested in getting.
Well, I think there's I think I've noticed, especially with, I admire Pete McKinnon quite a lot. I think he's, just because of his personality and his edge to things, he's a very likable character. And when you see things that he does, you can just see his passion straight away. So he's talking about film at the moment, and then from that, I've actually noticed so many other photographers now going, I picked up this new camera. I think that might be, from my perspective, looking into that is more of a case that people are getting a little bit fatigued now of certain things. So it's just a game of take a photo, put it on the gram, put it on YouTube or wherever, and talking about it. It's the actual fact that we've done that for so long that no one's really touched film quite recently, and I think a lot of people are now because it's new. Again, in that sense, you know what I mean? It's because we don't talk about it enough.
Well, my theory is with it is kind of film photography has got popular, like vinyl has got popular, like
Exactly.
all of these
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
retro
Exactly.
films.
Yeah.
It's again coming back to that kind of like aspect that, you know, technology has advanced so far that people are finding the idea of something more advanced, more powerful, more crazy.
Yeah.
You know, the nostalgic
Yeah,
feeling
yeah,
of
yeah.
something that's older than you,
Tangible as
that still works. Because,
Yeah.
you know, there's a big part of that as well, is that, you know, with certain
Well, that 50
things that
millimeter
go-
lens, man, you to put it in my hand, I was like, wow, what is this magic?
Don't even get me
Yeah.
started on that. Like, genuinely, it's one of those. There are a few pieces of camera gear, right? And we need to see if you've got any. You can say as well. There are a few pieces of camera gear that I have always wanted to use just because of the experience.
Yeah.
Nick, one of the guys that run Camera Center before I get locked down in,
you told off that.
whatever, yeah, because the brothers there. But he's decided to keep it as a sort of like a collection piece.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
can continue
I don't
to
blame
make
him, man.
photos and stuff with it. But the 50mm 095 Dream lens has always been one of those things since I got into photography. When I first found out about it, it's just like, I'd love to try that. So I saw it in the cabinet, and they were just about to list it. They're not listing it anymore, but they were just about to list it, and I was like, I've got to try it. I don't like. I'm filming some ads today, but I'm just gonna take this, put it on an RF5, and give it a go. Because the only adapter that we had at the time was a Canon adapter.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm a Sony shooter, so
Go Canon.
go Canon. I
We
will
won't get into that argument.
No, 100%. Well, we do need to actually.
Let us know down in the comments. Who are you, Team Canon or Team Sony or even Nikon?
Well, I know.
Yeah, but there's going to be someone out there.
Well, no,
Not telling you about, like-
there is. There's a guy called Tyler that works for Camera Center, and he's a Nikon user,
Yeah.
so he's going to love that little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's good then. It's just for you,
one
mate.
of those things. So, on that kind of note of kind of like things that I've always wanted to have like, go with, what's a piece of gear that you've always wanted to use?
Oh, see, I feel like I haven't really delved enough into sort of what I haven't had and always just what I've had. But I know personally, for me, it would have to be a cinema camera of some sort, because I love film, as in, cinematography. I love my film. Like we went and saw Oppenheimer last night.
Oh my god, that film was so good.
It's and so long, like it felt longer than 3 hours, but the way they kept you engaged for that 3 hour period was fascinating.
Yeah.
And the cinematography in it was just phenomenal, and the grading and like how he kept it in black and white and then came back to color, and it's just like.
Do you know there's no grading?
Well, there you go. So I need to do this.
I'll probably be connected. I'll probably be like butchered for this in the comment section, I guess. But it's all shot on 70mm film.
Is it?
Do you know? All right.
So I haven't done any learning yet. I went and saw the film. Now I normally watch the film first and then find out how, because I like to sort of try and sit there and watch and see whether I can figure it out. And if I can't, which normally is the case, I then go and have a look.
You might find this interesting. And so you know how your camera has a full frame.
Yeah.
Thing. That's a 35mm sensor.
Yeah.
So a 70mm is
of course, yeah.
that turned on its side with another sensor next to it, which is.
Yeah. I mean, I can now you're mentioning these things, I can actually see that as well.
Yeah.
From some of the frames that you watch, they are fascinating. Like, if you haven't gone to see, you need to see it. It's a great film. Yeah, and then I mean, let alone the fact that what the story's about. It's like if you're going to tell a film like that, you need to be able to publish it in a way that is, like you said, very unique. So finding that out has made me even more. I mean, it's probably gone up my list. I think it's reached number 2. Like Joker's number 1. Yeah, I love Joker.
That's good.
Joker
was fun. Like cinematography in that way, it was mind blowing.
So going back to it, it would be a cinema camera, mainly because I want to hold on the film and see how it works. I know exactly. I saw it and I'm like, oh, is that? I know it's.
Well, we might take it out later.
We got into Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, I suppose while we're on it, the sort of camera I'm actually using right now is the R6 Mark II. I wanted to get into mirrorless. So previously, I was on the 5D Mark IV. Yeah. And I was shooting a bit of sports at the time, as well as obviously getting more into Canine, being even more Canine orientated. with my Instagram, but I was shooting and working, doing a lot of sports and especially gym. And the one thing I just wanted was something that was going to hit the mark with the video as well as the focusing, you know, so I could focus more on real framing and not have to worry as much. Because obviously the way I shoot is a lot run and gun. Yeah, I don't really put a lot of prep into it. It's more of a case of capturing the moment and seizing that point, because I think then you get very natural, organic footage. So having something that was ready to go and wouldn't miss it was a perfect sort of angle to take there, and I can't fault it at the moment. You know, for what I've used it for, it's a great camera. I'm still on like EF lenses, which work great with the mount, which was I was a bit worried for. I was like, you know,
I think that was one of the things that they needed to make sure that that carried over, because the EF mount was so kind of like universal in its application. Course, I mean, Sony shooters, like Sony cinema shooters, you're not necessarily cine shooters, but people that were shooting on Sony's for like broadcast stuff like that use Canon, the 7200, the 2470, you know, the Golden Trinity quite a lot, because it was so good for a long time. I think they've missed out on opening up the mount, if I'm honest.
No, I agree. I'm like 100%.
I'd like, because it's kind of, they want to claim back money, I think, or something like that through the
still so dominant in the market, though. So it's like, you know,
I think it's one of those things that if people were going to switch from like a Sony or a Nikon camera, I think they would be more I'd be interested to switch to Canon, right? If I knew that I could get my mounts changed on my Sigma lenses, because they do that for free.
Do they?
They do that for free. So if you do switch, they'll actually change out the mount for you. I think it's for free anyway. It's something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
So they make sure, you know, they keep it older, keep, you know, the lenses going. So Canon, please, can you open up the mount a little bit? You do beautiful lenses, and there's no insult to what you create. But
sometimes it's just
a little bit too much.
But I'm happy. I mean, I know I'm always gonna. I mean, I'm a Canon boy now. I can see it through and through. No saying that, like we were talking about earlier. You know, I would always have the opportunity to add to. I would never give away. I don't think now. I'd always, you know, I've kept every body that I've had apart from the 700D, because I was like, I went from 700D as my first camera, and then I immediately realised I needed something better, so I went to 80D. It's not too, you know, there was a big jump there, but I got rid of that one. Then ever since I've kept every body, so I've got all three bodies, got all my lenses. My favourite lens is the 100-400. I love it. It's just, and that's I mean, if you look at my content on my Instagram, mainly all my reels, they're all shot on 100-400, because it gives me that unique look, that compression, mainly at 100 to maybe 150. And people always ask, you know, what are you shooting with? How are you getting your look? And it's like, do I give it away? I've just given it away now. But I mean, I've done a whole video on it now on YouTube, which is, you know, people always ask that. That's what I noticed. I was getting a lot of questions like, what do you use? And it's like, okay, there's an audience here now that want to know.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like, I've created a unique look with things now. So obviously people want to sort of see how I've done that. And it's quite humbling actually, in the sense like now I've actually got people, you know, chasing me how I'm chasing cinematographers, going, how have you made this film? Like, so, you know, yeah.
So what would you actually add like a little short film maybe in the future? Is that something that you want to do?
So like I'm not diagnosed, but I'm definitely sure I have ADHD. So my mind runs absolutely crazy. Ideas. I write things in my head, but then sometimes I can't articulate them in life sometimes. So if you were to get inside my brain and be like, you could pick apart so many shorts that I've had in mind for, whether it would be the dogs, films, I just, you know, like some of the sportswear that I was thinking of doing with like trainers, I'd love to film like a running trainer ad, and like in the mountains somewhere, it's just like all the sound design to, you know, really just punch it in, but not your standard advert, like a very cinematic one. And add in a dog, of course. Gotta have a dog.
I think everything's made better with dogs.
100%. Yeah, 100%. And we're a nation of dog lovers, so, you know, my audience I can tap into is massive, because so many people have dogs and they can relate to them. You know, whether you're into cameras or not, if you've got a dog, I can get you into cameras. photos. Yeah, it's like
I can bring you
when you realise that you can take really nice photos of your dogs, and I sit there like all the time, and I'll do it with my partner as well. We'll sit there and just be like, oh, look at this photo of him. And we'll go back in time, you know, we'll go way back in time to the early days of having my camera with the dogs, and just be like, you just appreciate how good those photos really are. Yeah. You know, you can get your phone camera and they have some substance to it. There's always a memory, but when you really see it, an image is just powerful. You don't need to say any words to it. You know, I put them up on Instagram and people are just like, oh my God, he's amazing, he's beautiful, he's wonderful, whatever. So, you know, I appreciate people for that, because, you know, dogs don't know that that's even happening. They're just living their life.
and you know, I think we as a people can learn a lot from dogs, because
100%.
It's just pure unadulterated love that they have for their owners and for the environment.
Yeah. Like, you take them out and they go on a walk, like especially like Zeuss, when he used to stick them in the boot and go, right, mountains. And he knew the word mountains, and he would know when he was getting closer, because outside the window, the walls would grow taller around you, right? And so from there, like, as I got to the night, as soon as you get high, he'd be like, he's in his element, and he knows we're going to the top of something, right? And it's like, so this is going to be a while, and it's like, but what are we doing today? Are we scrambling up a real knife edge? Are we doing a long walk? Are we going to a lake? Are we going to go for a swim? And those moments,
he was a beautiful
he
dog,
was, he really, really was. Yeah, he really was. I know. And like, it's biased to say, but I think he had a really unique look as well. I've seen so many other dogs online like him, but there was just this unique look, and I think that came as well from the sort of lifestyle he led. So as soon as he was around about 2 or 3, taking him out to the mountains every weekend, doing something most of the time, it matures your dog in such a way as well. Like, they, you know, if you just keep your dog at home, or you just go on short walks locally, exposing him to that environment definitely changed him, matured him, and grew him into what he was, which was a legend.
He was, absolutely beautiful. Of course, it was Zeus, and now you got Thor.
Yes. Thor. Well, what do we say about Thor?
Thor. I think it's one of those.
He's a baby.
He's a baby. Well, he's not a baby.
He's a baby up here.
He's a baby up there. But you know, I think there's a wisdom with the youth. Sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I even see it like we'll be out walking somewhere and he's looking at me for guidance. I love that. Yeah, I really love that. And the idea was, get Thor, who's his friends with Zeus, he can teach him everything. Yeah. So he looked to Zeus for guidance. Now, obviously, Zeus isn't there. It's, okay, bloody hell, I've got to do that guidance. And I'm looking, you know, normally I would look to Zeus for guidance, really. Mainly because he was, you know, he was everything. And so now I'm like, right, I've got to start back from scratch again here. So it's, you know, he's looking at me and I'm going, right, okay, what do we need to do here? And I've got to teach him that realm of photography and where to stand. And, you know, Zeus would just do it. I'd be like, I didn't even have to ask him in the end. He'd just go and see a rock and I'd be like, he knows, yeah? Like, he actually knows. And he'd just get on top of him. He knows.
Like, he's just like, Zeus was, when we shot that ages ago, he man, like, he was just beautiful. And he just got up and he just, like, it was like if he was in a movie, the black bars would come down and the wind would be sweeping through his face.
And he'd act as if he knew the camera. Yeah, it's like, no, this isn't even being filmed right now. I'm just being a boss.
Like, he was like a Liam Neeson kind of.
Oh man, 100%. Yeah, he just needed to win his. He needed to win his Oscar. That's what he needed to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, definitely. Oh, God, I'm getting a bit emotional.
Mate, honestly, I did warn my partner. I was like, shit, this may go down a road of, like, you know, some tears and whatnot, but
you've gone through quite a bit of what I wanted to talk about.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this isn't me ending things. This is like, I think the conversation has flowed nicely. I need to. Yeah. It's one of those things where sometimes you need to not plan.
No, of course, because I think people want to see, you know, like, sort of you in your natural environment as well. Like, when I'm out and about doing things, people bump into me, or they used to bump into me, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, is this Zeus?" And I'm like, "How do you know who Zeus is?" And I forget. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, but do you know who I am, Dan?" And then, like, and I would be there for 20-30 minutes talking to them about things, and instead of just, you know, like I say, just naturally moving on and say, yeah, oh yeah, it is. Oh, nice to meet you, and carrying on. It'd be like, you get to meet me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my time with you because you've spotted. And I suppose for the one thing as well is obviously we're at 90,000 followers now. I'm going for the 100k.
Yeah.
I've got a thank you very much. I've got a big idea for 100k.
Yeah.
I want to do 100,000 steps in 24 hours across Snowdonia's mountains, ranges, or whatever. I'm going to do that to my own because I don't think Thor's definitely not at the age to do that yet. But yeah, the Instagram's going really well. So, and Thor's actually jumped straight into the limelight and is now, you know, a brand ambassador for. And it's like, again, he doesn't have a clue this is going on, but yeah, he's jumped straight into the role really well, and he's actually doing a fantastic job. Like some of the videos I've got are they're just gold. They are gold, and I couldn't be happier really. You know, he has taken the role very well. I think for what little time he spent with Zeus, it wore off.
It wore off.
Yeah,
that is good. So
we're gonna have to go out and do some stuff. We'll definitely do that. We will. We're gonna. It's like no matter the level, no matter where it is, we're gonna do.
Let's just do that running commercial you're on about.
Right. I mean, there's like an epic part where I want to like find somewhere where I was like jump off a cliff into water, and then the shot goes down through the water, and then the camera comes back up as you rise back up. Mate, honestly, this lives through my mind. And I'm just like, yeah, let's do it.
Fair. Oh, we've actually got photos.
Yes, of course. I can actually talk about some of these. So if we pull up that one, so this was actually, I love this photo. So this was quite close to the end of Zeus's life. As you can see there, so the disease he actually had was myasthenia gravis, which is like your voluntary muscles, they have signals that get sent to them, and those signals are getting broken down by the disease, so your legs just basically stop working and he would fall over. And after, when he would lie down, he'd recharge for a bit, and then he'd be able to get back up, and those end levels would drop. So as you can see, he's lying down here because he's having a rest. But this is up locally, Shropshire, Longmynd, him and Thor. I mean, this is actually probably one of the only times they really just got to run around and be dogs and play with each other in the wild, because the rest of the time Zeus had to be 6, 2 and 10 at home for meds every day for like 8 months. 8 months of his life. So this is, you know, there's nothing special about this image in a sense of like,
but special to
me. But then also it's like, and then you start to look at it a bit more, and it's like, and you can see the brotherly bond here. You one's lying down, the other one's standing up, and it's like he's learning to walk while the other one's sort of learning to, you know, he's coming to the end of his time, sort of thing. So this was a really special time, and it was drive up there, got out of the car, walked up a tiny hill, but it was the views that you get from there. I mean, you can't really see them, so I've just sort of smashed the highlights out, but Shropshire's a
imagine what you could do if you had generative fill there. You'd be crazy. But also, you can't think of, generative fill, great and everything, but you're talking about how special this image is. You can't. There's a point where like AI.
No, it can't do this.
You can't do this.
And what it can't do is it can't do this and then have someone talk about it. It can't. I could get an AI image up and I could make a story up about it. It's a bit like, I suppose you'd say, writing a story and creating a film. But when you know, if I was in front of an audience and I wanted to talk about some images, I would pull up some of the simplest images and try and evoke the emotion from that. And I think that's what I try to do with a lot of my photography is it's about picking the subject in the middle and trying to find that emotion and drawing and driving it through to the audience. And it definitely works, because I see so many people like, oh my God, this reminds me so much of my dog, or the times I've had. I wish I had these photos. And it's like, well, do it. Go and pick up a camera, try and find out how you could get this yourself, sort of thing. So
100%.
Yeah. And then I think we've got some, there's another one in there. So this was actually the other day. This was quite cute. So we had a big family event, and I actually gave, so no one there's a photographer other than my brother Dave, and he's busy flying kites and stuff. So I passed it to my sister. I was like, just take a photo of me. And I was like, this shows that this is a beautiful image, right? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and she'd never used a camera before. So I set up the settings. I was like, just have a play, move around, what you're doing. And then she caught this moment. She missed the lick. She missed the kiss. But it's like, it's fine. That would have been the gold mine, but that's the part of the learning as well, I suppose. So, I really, this, again, me being in this image, that's what I miss a lot. I'm always the one behind. So I'm not ever often maybe sticking a camera on a tripod. and then running and gunning, running front, like take the photo, go back, is it good enough? And so to have something like this, this is really nice. And having the tattoo as well, so I've just had the tattoo done.
It's sick.
So thank you very much. And this has all got timelines and meanings and all sorts.
Yeah, good. Yeah, the same here. Talking about ornithology.
Is this got DNA sort of strand? Yeah, that's cool.
So Idrisil, Tree of Life. That's what
yeah. I'm a big fan. As you can tell, Zeus with the Zeus, Greek, and then I mean all my dogs will be named after either Greek or Norse mythology. I don't think I'll steer away until I run out of names.
There's a lot of dogs.
I want a lot of dogs though.
Yeah.
Just waiting for this guy to call us. She's like, how many we have in?
No. Yeah, but it's one of those things that you're saying that yes, your sister doesn't necessarily understand how to do photography, but the other side is there's always a place to start.
Yeah.
But also, photos don't have to be technically perfect.
No, 100%. Some of the biggest images are probably some of the less technically sound images, right?
No, exactly. Actually, I took a photo the other day. I'll show it to you in a bit. I was with a film camera. I accidentally did a double exposure.
Oh, really? And it just came out.
It just came out really cool. We'll come back. Sorry.
Because I
will forget.
This is the one thing I've actually wanted to try with, especially my 5D. I never actually utilised it, but I should have done, because I wanted to get some amazing sort of, portrait of Zeus or Thor, and then exposure of the mountains as well, and sort of find a way I could really artistically create that image.
Yeah. Where is it? Here it is. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
So
it's so funny to look at as well.
It's weird to look at, but what I found completely crazy about this is my vision for when I took this photo was to have the small figure encapsulated by nature.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when I took this image, I was thinking kind of like with the old and the young, one way, one going the other way. And just kind of like.
And you've got this like concrete jungle almost encapsulating it as well. Like you've got the nature, and you've got the structures of mankind around it as well. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, and this is the thing.
A mistake.
No.
I didn't even know how I did.
How long could you spend on this image looking at it, and talking about it? And really, you told a story there which you didn't intend to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is one great thing about photography. It's why I didn't realise I was going to love photography as much as I did until I really started getting into it. So, and then if you go to the next image now, this one. So this was recent. Probably about 4 weeks ago. So we actually went and stayed in the Bothy in Snowdonia. So the Bothy is the building you can see in the background. And this is our first adventure out properly. So we'd done some camping locally, we'd done to the mountains, spread a bit of Zeus's ashes here and there, but this was like, right, we're going to Wales, this is what I do, Thor. I'm going to show you the ropes. And this was one of my favourite weekends, like, with him. So you always, I'm going to have so many, but since everything, this really meant a lot. And we just got back to nature, and this whole sort of through the day into the night and back into the morning again, it just rained and I was like, right, you're getting the real Welsh experience here. Right, because it just rained.
That's
but we woke up in the morning, and actually you can see the window there, the sunlight come bursting through one side. I thought, oh brilliant, like it's not raining. Got outside, it's still raining, it's just the sun's rose that way, it's hitting through the window. And as you turn around, so you can sort of see the mountain in the background, there's like a lake just there, and the sunlight is just arcing a rainbow right away. And now I didn't shoot it because I don't want to get my mirrorless camera wet, because I'm a breaker. I don't want to break things. I'm like, no, I've learned not to do things like that. So I was like, right, just pull out my phone, and then it just hit me. I realised that, like, is this like a sign? There's like, is this Zeus coming to say hello as well? Like the rainbow bridge.
I was going to say it, but like didn't know if it was like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so I quite like. I mean, this is a more technically sound image. You're trying to use your rule of thirds and putting your subjects in certain areas, and I do it so naturally now.
Yeah.
Especially with my two lenses, I use 24 to 35 and the 100 to 400. I just I know my ranges, where to stand, and just to composition everything together, just be nice. And I love this photo. Again, there's so many more I've got where the sun rises, sun sets, and you think that's a beautiful image, but then I look at this one and I go, wow, this is how I technically sound an image. So this is a quite a nice day out or weekend out for him.
So
now this one, so this was actually for Adobe. So we did they wanted to show the community how I edit my animal photos and all my pet photos. And obviously there are so many images of Zeuss where they're absolutely epic and up mountains and everything else. But there was one thing we'd learned recently is that he could catch treats.
Sure.
And you can actually see, I don't know if you can zoom in on here.
It's just one of those going to see the green screen.
Can you see?
Oh, that.
Treat, yeah. Yeah. So I forgot about it. I actually left it in.
Yeah, okay.
And
did you leave it on the
tattoo?
well?
She did, but she noticed it and didn't do it on the tattoo.
So should I put it in the tattoo?
I know. When she realised, she was like, "Oh, I don't know if it'd be a bit too busy and stuff." I was like, "Oh, I'm glad you noticed it because I did forget to take it out." Blah blah blah. But this was actually just I wanted. I mean, he looks so strong and fierce. And it doesn't look like he's, just being catching a treat. And I think this just encapsulates him as like strength.
Yeah.
He's a strong dog that, fierce stance. And you can't really grasp size in this. Yeah. So he was obviously, he's taller than me here. This is, and I'm 5'10", so like he's like at least 6 foot something there, and that's fully stretched out. And this again is one of those images which just I always go back to, and again, like you say, it's on the back of the hand. It was one of the special images I thought it's going to work there. It's going to be good to have on the back of the hand, and it really works well. Yeah, I do. It's probably should be one of my favourite images outside of a few others.
Oh, absolutely gorgeous, man, that 100%.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know you got the tattoo of it as well.
Yeah. So
I looked at it and I was just like, hang on a second.
Like, you can show the camera there. So you can see it's and the best part about it is that you can't really see on the camera, but they've put the whites in the teeth there. So I've got some white ink on the teeth, nice. And we've actually added in. So this is a kind of like a little shout to Thor from Marvel, but Thor and then Zeus. We've got the white eye. So as obviously Thor, powers up. He's got the white eye, but this is sort of like passing on as well. That sort of he's entered God mode now. He's gone off to be with the gods.
To be with the gods. Died in Valhalla. Oh, actually not Valhalla, but Valhalla. We'll say Valhalla.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I think he'll go dine everywhere. Yeah. He's just go and take his pick. So all the images I've actually passed you, really, apart from that one, every one you see of Zeus is with his disease. Yeah. So this one again, he loved the snow, and the cold temperature actually affects the disease more, so it actually brings it on more. But it started to snow, and I was like, I really didn't want to take him out because there were certain things within it, like he wouldn't be able to keep his food down as often because his muscles also wouldn't keep food down. So if you try and exercise him, you have to pick the right time. He saw the snow and was like, I need to go. I need to be out. And the one thing about snow is you can take pretty much photos anywhere. So this is at work. There's loads of business units. That's what you can see in the distance. But that's just, straight up banger. Banger. Oh, and he just knows how to pose. He's got the... when you pose like a person for a portrait, you can't really pose a dog. You have to wait for it, but I didn't even need to wait for him. In the end, he'd just do it. He'd just stand there and look off to the side, or if you shout him, he just looks dead on into the camera.
I do genuinely believe that, I know they weren't, but I think they should be, they should have been, is cameras were originally created to take photos of their pets. Take photos of their pets.
Yeah.
I feel like...
so this again, is this...
God.
This is making you yawn. So this is because I love treat catching in the end. It's a great sort of way of you look at the adverts, there's so many sort of videos that people have done with throwing treats. It gets dogs doing crazy stuff, and I don't know if you've seen some of those. There's a photographer just catching the tennis ball underwater, dives in, and you get all the skins everywhere. And this is another one where his illness. So his illness obviously made his face quite muscles relaxed. Yeah. So it's not the best one. There was a few other ones, but you can kind of see he's just got all this slobber, all of his just face just really, really droopy in this. And I just love this photo. This was taken at home in the kitchen. I moved everything out of the way, and I just had fun shooting in my kitchen. And so these are some of my most favourite images because they speak a lot to me. Yeah, more than anything. And I mean, I would invite everyone to go and have a look. Scroll down on the Instagram because you have to get past all the reels. You have to get past everything first.
I mean, that's the big thing at the moment. I mean, my page is just full of reels. I'm a videographer as well. What I do, but you have to get real. So you have to get past. I mean, video is just massive now, isn't it? So not that it wasn't before. It's just got a platform for it, thanks TikTok. But yeah, if you can get past, there's so many photos of Zeus in the mountain. I think there's one that and I can give it to you and you can pop it up on the screen now. He's walking up the Cannon Triffin, and I'm not taking the photo. All my friends took this photo, and so I'm goading him up the Cannon. So if you've ever been up that before, it's quite narrow, point rock that sticks out, and he's walking up top of it, and it's just straight up out of the Lion King. Right, it's fascinating, and he's got his legs spread perfectly. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's just sharp, and it's just like I don't think anybody else has got a photo like that of the dog, right? I mean, if you have, let me know down in the comments because I haven't seen anything like this. And there's those moments like that made me think, God, I need to. At that time as well, I wasn't really focusing too much on Zeus. We would just do that. We'd get out of the car and we'd just enjoy the wilderness, and I'd take landscape images. Only when I realised that he was good at what he did, that I was like, God, we could really do something here. And then, fast forward to now, two dogs in, those brands, tons of video and photos. It's really evolved into something that I didn't imagine. I didn't start this journey for that. No,
I didn't realise that a camera could offer that sort of thing at the time. I just thought it was everyone has one personally.
But I think. In that retrospect, I think it's actually good to go in with that attitude with it, is to say,
not expect
this camera's not going to necessarily earn you money, but you're going to find something else in it that I think may affect,
Yeah, I think because one of the talking points actually was that we were going to speak about was what would I say to someone if who wants to start content creation now, and I would say do it. It's the first one. That's got you. Just go and do it. If you're thinking about it, it's the same with YouTube. It's people who say they're going to do YouTube, and then there's people who just go and do it.
Yeah.
And just the moment you start things, is your first one is always going to be terrible. The 100th one, that's going to be totally different to your first one. And I think pick something you're passionate about first, because it will mean that you won't bore and tire of it. So pick something that you really enjoy doing, whether that be sports, whether that's, even flowers, taking photos of flowers, whatever. It could be anything. Start that first. Get good at it. Understand that if this is for you, you'll find that out immediately because you'll enjoy it. You want to take photos every day, right? And then I think you evolve into, this is how I learned, so I'm all self-taught. I then went and realised that there's so many other genres of photography. You could go from any aspect. So then go and try different styles out, different genres of photography, because what you'll do is you'll go away and you'll use your camera differently. You'll use different settings. You're working in different light. You might even set up some lights yourself. Then when you go back to the thing that you are passionate about, you'll put all of that newfound knowledge to increase your passion, and your work will get better, and you'll start to then generate this. At least that's what for me, and I know a lot of other people I've spoken to about, is you'll generate this environment that you really enjoy being in, and then the rest comes naturally. So that's what I'd say. I mean, you just got to be passionate, find the passionate thing, be passionate about it, do it, and then you'll know straight away whether it is for you.
100%.
And you don't need to worry about social media as much either. Social media should always come second, because I wasn't posting anything on social media to start off with. I just picked landscape photographers, some of the biggest ones out there, and picked a couple of their courses, just studied myself, and I went out every day, took landscape photos around locally, and I'd come home and I couldn't wait to edit. So 100%. And then I think just got to do it. You just got to, if you're thinking about it, just try it, because even if it isn't for you, you'll know again straight away, and then you can not have that doubt of, should I have ever tried it? I never did. It will be too late. So
definitely. This like just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
I feel like that might be copyrighted.
I know, I did say it. It's either it was certain brands or there was a certain guy that said it, right, with the green screen behind him. Yeah, I know. But it is true. I mean, it is. I suppose I live my life along the lines of like, I don't really think about things too much. I will just do it first and worry about it later.
Yeah.
Because I like to learn that way as well. Very physical.
I think it's one of those things. Is like sometimes you just got to take the plunge, accept that. Yeah, you may not be doing something right. You may not be doing this right. You may, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes like being comfortable is not.
Yeah, exactly.
Being happy.
Yeah. 100%.
And every now and then you've got to take a chance to see if this point in your life will be better if you change something.
Yeah. I think so you could probably imagine looking at some of your early work, your videos, and thinking, how did I get from this to this? Like, I used to edit my photos like somebody had just dropped Oppenheimer's greatest invention right on it, and they would just be super over saturated.
Yeah,
they were talking.
Okay, so talking about very earliest work.
We're going to get some...
This was 13 years ago.
Right. I love how you could hit straight to the mark with the search bar, one word, right? Yes. Oh, it's stop motion as well, right?
I created a stop... Oh, Jesus.
Amazing.
Check out the actor. Check out the acting. Add in sound effects. I've got it sorted here.
Who's the guy?
He's Connor. He's like one of the best mates
him
from
to do
being
this, right?
Look, blood stain.
I know,
This
this
is
OG YouTube though, right?
This is on a YouTube channel that I don't have access to anymore.
Full 11 subscribers as well.
Full 11 subscribers, so 11 people have seen this. I've shown it this many times over the years. It's like,
how many of those views are you?
Probably. Here we go. Check out the actors.
See, now I feel like this is where what you need here is a cutaway to like some of your, like the way you've gone now, like some of the things you created. But this is where it started, and this is what I'm talking about. But this is fun. Like how much fun we have watching that, right? It's pretty.
But like everybody has an origin to where they've started or where they've created.
Yeah.
Right? And there's always trials, there's always tribulations, there's always something going to happen here, something going to happen here. But at the end of the day, those experiences are going to be with you forever. And that, at the end of the day, is the most important thing when it comes to creating anything. I mean, a big reason why I love video is my mum took videos of me and my sisters when I was a kid.
Okay. There's that influence there, right? Yeah.
There's that influence there, but what ended up becoming more special is, my sister ended up passing away sadly of cancer when she was 11 and I was 4, so
a
long time ago. So as a 4-year-old growing up, I never really had a quantifiable kind of like, this is my emotion and stuff like that. What I ended up, this is, I remember her fully. 4 years. How many people remember stuff from 4 years?
Well, this is what I was going to say.
But having that footage there of someone that parents and everyone said that cared about me and stuff like that. But this is it. So I think the visual art form and why people are infatuated with media in general. Where the hell were we?
Well, I think like the main point that you were making there as well is like having it as a looking back memory. Without not many people can remember things when they were 4.
Yeah.
But for you to be able to sort of quantify that through video, you saw, I suppose, how special that was, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So it had a massive. I mean, now I know that changes everything.
Yeah.
Right? The angle's now changed because you can see where your passion and drive came from to be so successful with it. And to create like the memories of when you did your weddings and stuff like that. It's like you're capturing that moment for the rest of the time for them.
Yeah.
They're going to cherish that forever. So. Yeah, I think, summing up this big conversation we just had there and how deep we got, what cameras really offer is a personal memory bank for the individual to share those sorts. I mean, and it is great that we can share everything online and everything else, but you think when you have kids and stuff, you've got all that stuff to not just talk about, but to show them as well.
100%. I think it's really important. It's been real, man.
It has been real. I love cameras. I love cameras. They are.
Starting this camera channel has been good. I did actually start this like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
There is actually a really old video. I did a review on a Maverick Air, but this going over the last year or so, it's been really fun to do a bunch of these videos and talk about camera gear because I'm massively nerdy, and it's been awesome to have you on this.
Well, I'm going to plug my YouTube channel.
I'm
going to plug them. Daytona Enmarch on YouTube. It's only fresh and new, really. Like, I've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years, but what I want to sort of take the angle is the same thing, talking about camera stuff, talking about getting creative, just what we've been talking about now, but maybe showing it. And then Daytona Enmarch on Instagram as well, where you can come and see Thor being the boss that he is, and we're going to be talking all different sorts of stuff there as well, and just like sort of getting out, adventuring, and what those things have to offer. So come and join me there and see me.
I'll definitely be over there.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Really awesome, man.
I've enjoyed it, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
That was a good one. I like that. That was really good.
Yeah. If you've got any comments about any of what we've talked about today, make sure you put them in down below. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's probably been one of my favorites. We've been trying to improve the quality of these podcasts every single time that we do them. So make sure you do tell us what you think, anything you feel like it could change or anything like that. And I can't wait to see you next time. Have a good day.